Yo, SojuTalk Nation! On this week's episode, we'll be covering a Fuego release from Sejeong. We'll also be cooking up some spicy news coverage, including agencies polled on the best of K-pop in 2020, K-pop boy group Hall of Fame, and continued COVID-19 coronavirus coverage. So prepare your body, stay at home if you can, because we in this together. Hit me with that intro! Hey, what's up everyone? This is SojuTalk, your weekly shot at K-pop. We're coming at you with a super spicy episode 79, and we're recording on Monday, March 23rd, 2020. I'm Doug, and joining me today, we got Warren.
Hello.
And Anita.
Hello.
God, okay. I was hoping she would do your thing.
Oh, no, same.
As a quick reminder, please check us out on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. Sub to the SojuTalk YouTube channel, join the SojuTalk Discord, and be a part of the SojuTalk Nation. Links down below. We got some shout-outs this week, y'all.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
First one, a big shout-out to SBS Pop Asia for including SojuTalk in their 6 K-pop podcast to get hooked on article that also included Eric Nam, Day6's J, and Tableau's podcasts.
Wow.
To be included with them is absolutely
Yes.
ridiculous.
Jesus.
So I'm gonna give a little bit of a background as to who they are. They are not SBS, the TV channel in Korea. Just let's be clear about that. SBS Pop Asia is an Australian music show that broadcasts 24/7 Asian pop hits on digital radio, online, and on mobile devices. So shout out to SBS Pop Asia.
Shout out is a shout out. Thank you. Thank you.
Our second and final shout out is to Alice for sending us an email this week. So Alice has been listening to Soju Talk for about 4 months and is improving her English proficiency while listening to us. So, I mean, we barely speak English, so shout out to Alice. But Warren is her bias because he is funny and always speaks his mind, but she is conflicted because he is always destroying the song she likes.
Dang it, Warren.
So, that being said, thank you, Alice. We wish you the best of health.
Yes.
If you want to be shout out, you can also send us an email and give us some feedback or questions or whatever you want, because we haven't had them in a while. But
Thank you for the support. I will continue to destroy the songs you like.
let's move on to our big new releases, though, and a song that Warren might destroy today. So on March 17th, Tuesday, Sejeong released Plant. So that's our only release this week, big one. So Sejeong is from Jellyfish. She debuted in 2016 with IOI and also in 2016 with Gugudan. Her last 3 songs were Tunnel, which she released as a solo artist, and then Not That Type. And I also wrote And Not That Type, which is definitely not correct, but they're songs that were released by Gugudan. So she has 1 win as a solo artist and 0 with Gugudan so far. All right, this song. No, it's not a bad thing, but I want to first off. No, it wasn't a sigh. It was a lot of. I was winded, you know. I don't know, but let me first start off by saying that I am so happy that Sejeong is getting work. Like, I know that I'm still kind of pissed that Jellyfish isn't giving Gugudan work, but at least Sejeong's getting work. And she's been one of my favorites since the first episode of the first season of Produce. Like, the second she walked out, I was like, this is the kid. But, in fact, I did order this mini album, but with this Corona thing, who knows when it's going to get to me. Like, it might be half a year. But that being said, for the song Plant, I think Sejeong has a really great soothing voice, and I do think that this is a beautiful song. I particularly enjoyed the strings and the piano that were in the background of the song. I thought they were great. This song, you really have to like read the lyrics to get what she's going for, because it's clearly like a healing song, a self-healing song. And it really like talks about, well, it doesn't directly talk about, but it hints at some of the struggles Sejeong's been through. But that being said, the music video is a little bit confusing. It's a beautiful music video. Okay. I found it a little confusing. Like, she's the most beautiful plant and bag hoarder in the world, I'm guessing. But the way I interpreted it, and I saw some other people talking about it this way, it's like she's living in like this artificial plastic world, which I think is kind of symbolizing some of the toxic things that are around her. Maybe some comments she's reading, maybe some of the opinions of her. But she wants to grow a plant, which is like a natural organic thing that like kind of overcomes the toxicity in her life. That's at least what I got out of the song. Now, my final comment is I am not 100% sold on Sejeong being a pure ballad solo artist.
What do you mean?
Elaborate.
I think Sejeong is a great vocalist, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be better than great to be a pure ballad singer, in my opinion. Like, I think that Sejeong's talents are as much her voice as it is her as a person. And if she's singing just ballads, she can't really show off her personality. She's more showing an emotional side. I think the appeal of Sejeong is like a lot of it has to do with how much 매력 or charm she has as a person. Like you watch her on these variety shows and she's just like she has it. I don't know how to put it, but she has it. Something draws you to this girl because she's just a great personality, great person, that kind of thing. Now, I want to give an analogy which is like kind of getting at what I'm saying. So, someone like Twice's Nayeon, right?
Right.
She's an above average singer, good singer. I wouldn't call her the main vocal of Twice, but she's like the voice that you think of when you think of Twice, right?
Right.
I'm not totally convinced she could be a solo ballad singer, but I do think she could be a solo artist. I just feel like being a ballad artist entails a lot more things because a lot of K-pop fans don't love ballads. I think that's just what it is at the end of the day. Because ballads are more like OST songs, slower paced songs, more emotional things. And sometimes people just don't want to consume that. What do you guys think? We could just go into that right there.
I never thought that it would come to the day where I would be defending ballads.
Please do.
Look, as much as I don't like ballads, as much as I don't personally enjoy them, there's a market for it out there.
That is true.
There's a good market for it out there, and it's one of the most easily influenceable markets. I don't know if that's a word, but like, if I play a hip hop track, my dad ain't gonna bop to it. But if I play a ballad, my dad's gonna cry, I'm gonna cry, like everybody gonna cry in the car. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know I'm speaking like that, but like it is one of those genres that is more easily approachable because there was such a big like ballad era and there wasn't a lot of like cultural stigma that came around with it. But I do see your point from an iFan perspective, where none of that ever happened. It's just a boring song, unless the song does emotional things for you. Then I'm sure it does things. But if you aren't just familiar with the genre ballads, which there isn't really an equivalent of in America, in my understanding, I do understand it can be a little uninteresting sometimes, and having an entire mini album.
The point I'm trying to make is like I think she could be a solo artist, right? I just don't know if being a ballad only singer is the best option for her.
Do you kind of wish she took more of a Chungha route where she dabbles in a variety of stuff, or
maybe like I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't know if she could do like a pure Chungha thing, right? Because Chungha has her thing because she's Chungha, of course, right? But like I feel like she should like Chungha's strengths are that she's performance, she's charisma, right? She's power dancing. The majority of her own main singles without collaborating with other people are that, right? When I think of Sejeong, I think of something bubbly, something with a lot of personality. That's what I see her as an artist mirroring. But maybe I'm just alone in that thought.
No. I see where you're coming from. So you're saying that the artists and the art that they're putting out don't kind of... You have trouble associating those two because they're so different, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know. I'm not trying to say that Sejeong can't be emotional. Like definitely, right? Everyone could hit these notes, but I just don't associate it with her a lot. It takes me out of my Sejeong fandom a little.
No. I get what you're saying. Like when we think of Sejeong, right? We think of the playful, like
아재 Sejeong.
Hey, 왜 그래요? That kind of person. And then the output that we've gotten from Sejeong have been like, it's going to be okay, fam. Like those kind of things.
Yeah,
right? Like,
exactly.
I do see the dissociation, and I do have a problem with it. In all honesty,
at the end of the day, it's like I'm happy for Sejeong because she's getting solo stuff. My opinion, which I've always stated, is that it's ridiculous that Gugudan isn't getting stuff. I just don't understand that. The other song was The Boots. That was their last song, other than Not That Type. I just looked that up. It's a weird situation because I'm extremely biased towards Sejeong. Like, not gonna lie, out of all the members, I do like Kangmina a little, but those are like the two main members of Gugudan, objectively. It's good that she's getting stuff, and she did bring another member with her to Masked Singer, which she's serving on the panel right now for the current string of episodes. I'm very conflicted about this. I'm not conflicted about the song. I think it's a good ballad, but I'm conflicted about where this places her and the larger picture of Gugudan. But those are my takes. Warren, what do you think of this song?
I mean, I don't generally disagree. I pretty much agree with a lot of the things you said. But I mean, before I dive into that, interesting credit was the song was pretty much mainly produced and written by a singer called Sejeong, also known as SWJA, and Sejeong SWJA. If you don't know who that is, one of the most unique, skilled, one of the best female vocalists in Korea right now. Period. And it's once you hear the song, and once you see those credits, it's you can kind of hear her voice kind of coming through Sejeong's voice, both in good ways and bad ways. But it's great. It's great to have a mainstream ballad that pulls from a lot of like non stereotypical ballad melody progressions. So that's great. That part's fine. I'm actually a fan of the song. I like it.
Nice.
Sugar Man.
I know, right? Like, I know literally earlier I said I would rip apart every song, but I guess that's not what I'm going to say. That being said, I'm also confused. As much as I like the song, as much as I find it interesting, she decided to put out an entire EP dedicated to ballads. Which having a genre dedicated EP in K-pop is kind of, I don't know why they would do that, because when you put out a K-pop album, you're, especially with the female artists, your goal is to capture as many ears as possible. It's to provide a full buffet, a full course meal, and just capture everybody as much as possible. And it's like a full like 5-set appetizer, and that's it. Like, just, like, it kind of feels like, like those tapas, you order a couple, you think it's trendy, like you order a bunch, and like it's expensive, but like it doesn't fill your stomach, like your belly's still aching after you finish an entire like $120 worth of meals.
And it's also like when you order tapas and then you order the wrong ones and everything's in olive oil, and you're like, this all tastes the same.
Oh man,
you know what I'm saying, right? Sometimes
it all tastes the same.
Yeah.
See, okay. I mean, here's the thing. Actually, there's no thing. It leads me back to this confusion. Why did they go with the full ballad album? And my only guess would be Kim Sejeong wanted to have a full ballad album.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, like, I guess Jellyfish ain't that smart of a company either, but like Jellyfish was horribly stupid, first of all. Or like, I don't know. Like, here's the thing. If she wanted to have a more emotional, touching album with like these messages, she had other options. There's other, options to go with this. Like, IU is an artist. I don't want to compare people, but IU is an artist who has continuously showcased her personality through her music, whether they were self-produced or not, and they were always in various different genres. And there have been numerous examples where she chose to do R&B songs or a little like calmer EDM inspired songs with like deep house or some shit. I don't know. Like, I just swore there. I'm sorry. I was going on a bit of a rant.
Can I make a statement about IU too?
Yeah.
I re-listened to BP a bunch this week. It's not that bad.
Look, the apology episode is over, but
well, I'm apologizing for the apology right now, sir.
I think Pinky Star is a good song too.
Oh my god.
Bro, okay. Before we continue, on our Discord, we have a channel where you can react to this week's podcast. Warren and I took a beating, like not terribly, but like a little bit of an ass kicking. But
here's what it is. When Pinky Star came out, I thought it was like I thought it was the best thing ever. Now I'm just like, it's all right. It's good, but like I like it's like. you know, like really good chocolate, like sugary chocolate. You've eaten it too much, and it gets like to the point where like the skin of the insides of your mouth is kind of wrinkly and stuff. You know, like
What?
I don't know what you're talking about. There's never enough. Wait, wrinkly mouth with chocolate? What?
no.
All right, that's a thing. I mean, I burned my mouth with soup, but you hurt your mouth with chocolate apparently. But
No.
go back. No. I'm gonna go pivot so we get back on track. So you were talking about Sejeong relating her to IU and trying different things.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there were different musical directions they could have gone with. And they chose what may be the least risky.
That's true. That's true.
To the point where it's a little boring. It works, but like I'm not gonna remember this in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Where this is a fine song. It's not a bad song. It's a good song. But at the end of the day, it's like, would I search for Plant in 3 months to listen to specifically? That's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
But Anita, what did you think of Sejeong's Plant?
Well, I think my overall view is a little bit more positive than you guys.
Okay.
I think for me, I thought the music video was pretty intriguing. Not necessarily confusing because I felt like it was meant to be pretty vague, like not a very straightforward storyline. But I don't know. I really loved the lighting, especially of this music video. It was so interesting.
That's true.
Like the colored lighting. It has a very warm feeling, which I think complements the song very well. And I also wanted to point out this specific scene where she's dancing in front of like colored plastic bags, and I don't know. I think the whole image is so. I feel like it creates a sort of paradox where it seems very beautiful, but then it's kind of sad because it's plastic and not very natural. It was really interesting. However, they designed it. It's really
they were
cool.
Bouncing that shot with her dancing in the trailer too, right at the same time. I'm not sure what parallels they were going for, but they were doing it. So
I think that's really interesting. I think for me, I know that the song itself, the lyrics is very much just going on maybe like a more personal, like person to person feeling of like having someone that is like a plant, someone that you can look up to and they can give you a breath of fresh air, in this world where it's very toxic. But whether it was intentional or not, I feel like it had very ecological tones to it. And I don't know.
I don't Conservation. Know if it was, let's go.
Yeah, I feel like whether it was intentional or not, like I said, a lot of it seemed very hopeful, right? Like at the end of the music video, you see the plants coming up. Even though she is surrounded by plastic bags, by plastic, by very unnatural, man-made objects, and maybe what you consider like clutter, like trash, like stuff that you don't want necessarily in your life. So I don't know. I think it was really nice. I think it could be like a second reading to the song itself. And I feel like it adds to the music video, just having that little message in there. But yeah, I think the song itself, I guess I never really listened to Sejeong as a ballad singer because I remember her more for IOI and Produce days. But I feel like this song was pretty memorable for me, I guess, as far as her solo stuff. And I don't know, I do feel like we lose a part of her if she does focus only on ballads, because I think she's capable of a lot of other stuff, like we've seen in Gugudan and IOI. But I do feel like if this is the route she wants, like it's kind of hard to be like, you should try other things, So I'm conflicted.
Yeah, I feel you.
I hope that she's not being forced to do this. But I also feel like if this is the only thing she wants to try, it's a little, I don't know, it's a little bittersweet because I do feel like if she were in the perfect plan, right, she would get to do this as solo stuff while also promoting like more bubbly, more pop sounds with Gugudan. So it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just a weird situation. we can't really say what's going on, but it just feels like Jellyfish don't know what they're doing with Gugudan or have given up. I'm not sure which it is.
I kind of, like the directions Yubin is going in.
Yes.
Silent movie, and before that, she had a whole city pop phase.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the kind of stuff I want. I wish Sejeong could do.
That'd be cool. I'd be down for that.
Yes.
Regardless, though, she is an extremely versatile and talented person, and I just hope she does well. And I'm glad that Anita didn't agree with me there because if we all just thought like don't do this, then that's not a great sign. But it's good that we disagreed there. But I think that covers our review of Sejeong's Plant. Next week there are a lot more songs, so we will have more than one. But other songs that were released this week. So I think it's Dua Lipa. Is that how I pronounce that?
Yeah.
I believe it is. So she released a new remix version of her song Physical, which featured Hwasa. So that was pretty interesting.
That's pretty cool.
One interesting thing is Hwasa sang in Korean, which was, I thought, an interesting move. And I was down for that. I do think it's kind of strange, though, because Physical has been out for a while. And then you just release a new remix with the K-pop person. I would prefer if when they collab, they release a new thing, like a whole new entity in itself. But maybe that's just me. I did think Hwasa did a great job. And like the Dua Lipa and Hwasa styles really overlap. So I thought that was cool. All right, the next one was a song by a group called Purple Beck. It was called, I think it's Valenti, or it might be a play on Valentine. I'm not completely sure, but VALENT are all capitalized and there's a lowercase I at the end. The version of the music video I saw only had 15,000 views at this point. So please go support them because we want to support all of K-pop. But those are the songs for this week. A little bit short. We have a lot. This episode in general is kind of strange because I know Corona's popping off internationally now, but the effects of Corona on the K-pop industry, it's definitely being felt now in terms of the news and things that are happening. So this is more of like even in our news is more, I'm going to say, discussion focused than news focused this week. But with that being said, Anita, hit us with them show winners.
Okay, so for the show on Tuesday, Victon's Howling won, giving them their first win for this promotion. And the next day on Wednesday on Show Champion, BTS won for On. And on Thursday on M Countdown, ITZY had their first win for Wannabe. So congrats to them. And for Friday on Music Bank and Saturday on Show Music Core, BTS had 2 more wins for On. So they're up to 15 so far. And ITZY had their second win on Inkigayo on Saturday as well.
Wow.
A couple things I want to talk about here. So, Victon, shout out to Sungu, that sexy man, you know. If Victon go to K-Con, we got to get Warren to somehow get to the high touch.
Man.
That's what we got to make that happen.
Sungu, here I come.
Okay. But,
boy.
Additionally, on winning, I know BTS is on top, right? 15 music shows. What? Okay.
Yeah.
BTS is on top.
All right. I'm just gonna pretend that you didn't say that. But also, ITZY's Wannabe. The more I listen to that song, the more I like that song.
That's good.
And something I noticed, this is not a judgment on the songs, is that they became candidates over NCT 127 against BTS on a couple shows. It just seems that Wannabe is being received better than Kick It. That's an objective thing. That's not me saying my opinion. That's an objective
thing. It's okay. It's all right.
But sorry. I'm just protecting myself, man. But now let's move on to the guy who does not care about protecting himself, Hot Take Harold, and his hot take this week. So Cousin Harold's gonna come on, give the weekly hot take, and then the crew will discuss and react to the hot take. Lego.
So I'm back in Michigan, Anita. Have you noticed?
I have.
Okay, look at this. Like I'm back in this old place. Man.
Yes.
It's Corona. Rona.
It looks like Warren's back in his parents' basement.
Yeah.
But the weekly hot take is agencies have no reason to change concepts if a group is charting and selling well. Boom. Stay home if you can, everyone. Wash your hands. Stay safe.
Yes.
Bye.
Stay safe, Harold.
Bye, Harold.
Oh, jeez.
All right, that was Hot Take Harold. The weekly hot take is agencies have no reason to change concepts if a group is charting and selling well. Oof.
Oh man.
This is a topic. I am conflicted about this one because at the end of the day, K-pop is a endeavor in which you are trying to make money, right?
Right.
It's a job, yes.
If you are charting and selling well, it means you are making adequate amounts of money, right? And it's one of those things where it's like, why would you change something if it's working well? That's my initial opinion, right?
Yeah.
But then I'm conflicted because I also think then, how do you know that if you change concepts, how do you know that you won't make more money or do even better? That's my
Right.
counter argument.
Right.
At the same time, though, there are examples in both directions, right? I'm gonna name two examples, both with girl groups, because obviously that's what I know better. G-Friend and Fingertip,
Oh.
right? If we think about the G-Friend discography the entire way, Fingertip is the odd child in their songs,
Right.
Yes.
where they went to like a crush theme randomly, and I think it's one of those songs where you either love it or hate it, but I know a lot of people are like a little bit lukewarm on that song, right? Because it's so different from their normal stuff.
Right.
On the other hand, you have a group like Twice who changed up their song a little bit with Fancy, right?
Right.
And then it was one of their best songs ever. So it could go in either direction. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, I like to commend groups and companies that are willing to take a risk. Because in life and in K-pop, you don't reach the top without taking some risks.
That's true.
Like you could be fine doing okay, but I think you need to take a risk to get to the next level sometimes, whether it's good or like it turns out good or bad. Therefore, I think Harold is wrong here because I think you should sometimes take risks in K-pop. Okay.
Okay. I think those are fair points. I don't disagree with what you said, but I don't agree with it either.
Okay, that's fair.
Do you
Here's the
agree
thing.
with the take?
I also have conflicted feelings about it. Right.
Oh, okay.
Kind of going back to the Twice argument, right? Well, Twice example, not an argument. Twice, before Fancy, where were we? We were at Yes or Yes. Was and then it was What Is Love? What was the song between those two?
Dance the Night Away?
Yeah, Dance the Night Away. I don't know. That year for me, I know that What Is Love was a great song for a lot of people. But to me, that was the most stale year of Twice possible. It was because if you think about it, they essentially pushed out like 12 comebacks or something like that, including the Japanese ones, with very similar concepts. And sure, you know, at one point it was Halloween. At one point, you know, there were aliens.
At one point it was the summer.
Right. At one point it was the summer, but like the whole general vibe was we're energetic, you know, we like to have fun. I get it. But after a certain point, I remember early on in the podcast, before Fancy came out, I kept on saying, hey, look, Twice is in dire need of a concept change that will make them stale very quick if they don't do it. And imagine if instead of Fancy and Feel Special, we had another like, I'm gonna wait for you to confess your love. Imagine if we had another one of that. Like, come on. It would have been, I don't know about you guys, but I would have been done. I would have been done. Like, already, like 2018, Twice. I don't know. I was already like,
You'd be as done as I am with 2020 this year, fam.
oh, bro, I think everyone is done with 2020 right now.
Dang.
Look. That being said, that doesn't really apply to everybody. Twice is a very unique,
Yes.
position because it. I mean, you might argue the newer rookies might be better, but like before Twice, there was not really a group that just was so successful from the get go. And they just kept on being successful after song after song, and it was kind of crazy because that's not really something you see often. And like, that really doesn't apply. That's not a really a thing that applies to everybody.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying there, because I would argue Girls' Generation had a similar thing, but that's just my opinion.
No. I was literally just about to mention Girls' Generation.
My thing is that I think what you're getting at, though, is that these groups aren't big enough and have enough fans where they can take a risk.
Right.
They're afforded that opportunity. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I see image as something you consume. I see it like, when you play RPG games, there's a health bar,
Yep.
I see it like that. It goes down. Actually, no, it's more like a mana bar. Every time you come back, it goes down. There's different methods to like filling it up back again so that it's maxed out. One of it to me is changing the concept, and the lower it goes, the more people kind of get like, they're like, it's like. When you make bread, when you make really good bread, I keep bringing in weird.
Bro, you're the food man these days, man.
I know, right?
He's Guy Fieri over here. You taking us to Flavor Town, fam? Stop! Is that what you're doing?
Bread is great.
It's great. Okay, what an obvious thing. Unless you're gluten intolerant, yeah, bread is great. But there's gluten-free bread too. Shout out to all the celiacs out there. What's up?
I forgot my entire analogy. Let's just end it there. Bread is great. See, here's the thing. Yeah, Twice had to kind of do it because they were in this weird situation where they were successful for so long. That's out of the norm. That's supposed to be weird. That's not supposed to happen. If you look at the previous statistics, there's supposed to be a dip somewhere. There's supposed to be some sort of scandal somewhere where it's really a good thing, but in a weird way, because there were so many just good things that happened on top of each other, and they just kept chugging on like there's no tomorrow. And I was like, wow, when is this party gonna end? It's just never a party that ends, except when the party goes too long at like 5 a.m. ish, when everybody's vomiting. I'm ready to go home. Like, I'm done. Like, no more of your vodka, no more of your beer. I'm not shotgunning anymore. Done.
Okay.
No more soju talk. Actual soju talk. All right, let's get Anita's opinion on this, though. Anita, what are your initial impressions of this take?
I feel like you guys are pretty much on track with what I'm thinking, because I do feel like there's a certain level of safety when a group is really successful, right? And if you're doing very, very well, it almost feels like you have enough fans, you have enough support where switching it up might not be that risky, to be honest, because you feel like, oh, whatever happens, you're going to still land on your feet. And you could always go back, right? There's another comeback that you could switch it up and go back. But I do feel like there are certain groups where they do get like a certain sound. I guess this is more in like concept and sound. To me, I feel like it can be a little different. But when you get like a certain sound stuck for a group, and I don't know, I do feel like success can be relative, right? Like Doug mentioned.
For sure.
If you're doing really, really well and then you switch it up, you never knew you could be even better. But it does go both ways. I do feel like I feel like more agencies should have more pressure to change concepts or sounds for groups that are pretty stable and that have like the resources, the support, where if a comeback that sounds a little different from their previous stuff does not do so well, it would still be okay. Like, it's not going to be the end of the world, not the end of their career. So I do feel like concept changes and sound changes are not a bad thing. And I do feel like it wouldn't hurt to see more people try new things. But it does depend on who you are and like where you're at.
Yeah. I want to talk about a lot of the times these agencies, it's not they're changing concepts to freshen up a group, it's they're changing concepts because it's safe to change a concept. So what I'm saying is, right now in the past 9 months, we've seen a lot of groups change their concepts to conform to the dark meta, at least boy groups.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think a lot of that is like a decision to like, man, if we change the concept, we're going to double our album sales, right? I think a lot of it is if we change our concept to the dark theme, we'll at least have a halfway decent song.
Yeah, I feel like it also is like following trends too, where
Yeah.
like, something ends up being a little bit more popular than others.
I also want to point out that I think like the hot take's a little bit inherently flawed. Let's be honest here, because it's like charting and selling well are levels of success, right? Success
Right.
is so relative.
Yes.
For a group like Gongwon Sonyo, Rocket Punch, increasing your album sales is the main thing, right?
Right.
I don't think I don't know if maybe Warren will disagree. I don't think it's time yet for Rocket Punch to be like, we gonna win this music show, fam. Let's go, right?
If they change concepts.
Yeah, I think it's like, it really comes down to, are you at a level where you can still maintain your numbers if you change concept? Like, let's say a group that's on their third song drastically changes concept and all of a sudden alienates all of their fans who like the first two songs. Like, let's say Gongwon Sonyo on the third song came out with a ballad, right? Everyone would be like, oh, big oof.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
oof.
They don't have the security blanket to be able to switch concepts yet.
Right.
Because K-pop is as much of a game of making money as it is of maintaining a brand, right?
Yes.
So until you're at a certain level where you're like, all right, our fans are with us regardless of what happens for this next song, you probably shouldn't change concepts, right? Like, you know how I used to say that Dreamcatcher should switch it up a little, and I retracted that statement? I
Yeah.
retracted that because I think if you switch up the sound, they're really like taking away from what makes them special at this point versus everyone else.
Yeah, I also feel like since you talk about this change and what makes groups unique, I do feel like the relative change or the drastic change of the switch in concept or sound might have something to do with it too. Because if I think of Twice, Fancy is not completely like 180.
No, it's
course.
No.
it's
So
somewhat
it's
close.
complementary, I think, to their discography in a refreshing way. And I feel like it's a very tricky, like very like sweet spot.
Here's the thing. The thing with Fancy is that the concept changed. The sound didn't.
Right.
That's a good way to put it.
You could play Fancy on top of one of their older music videos, and I honestly think it might work. Sure, it'll be awkward here and there, but like it definitely maintained that kind of word twice kind of sound. And Blackpink does that. Red Velvet does that. People with groups. Well, I don't know about Blackpink. Their discography isn't that extensive yet, but like groups with extensive discographies and had multiple concepts that were all successful have that kind of voice, that kind of sound that ties everything together. That's kind of the problem. Small companies have trouble with this because they have trouble establishing a sound. And when they change a concept, which is definitely there's no sound that will continue to go through. There's nothing that's the same except the members, and everything is different. And now, therefore, you have a completely different group. Sure, the people are the same, but they're making different kinds of music. What's the point in that case?
So I guess we're at the end of the day, it's like when we look at the take, no reason to change concept if a group is charting and selling well. I think we summarize it by saying, if you're in the building phase, keep doing what you're doing, probably, because that is the way you're going to grow your fandom more.
Right.
But if you are now at the level where you have a decent bar of like your floor, we like a lot of times in sports analysis, they go, what is this person's floor? What are their ceiling? Right. When your floor has risen to a point where like you're going to be fine regardless of what happens, then I think this opens up a lot more. I think that's the overall point we're trying to make here.
I think that's a good way to summarize it.
Boom. Okay, so that was the hot take from Harold. Boom. Harold told me he has one for next week. It's a little bit spicy, I'm going to say.
Ooh.
But y'all can look forward to that next week. But now let's move into our news and events from last week. As I said earlier, this is going to be a lot more discussion-based and not really news-focused. Like, because obviously the articles we're going to reference are news, but it's not really like specific events that happen. So you'll know what I mean once we get into it. The first one, agency officials polled on the best of K-pop in 2020. So in celebration of their 30th anniversary, media outlet Sports Joseon polled officials from 20 different K-pop agencies to determine the best of K-pop in 2020 over a variety of categories. Representatives came from agencies including, this is a crazy list, SM, JYP, Big Hit, Woolim, Pledis, Play M, Cracker, Cube, Blockberry Creative, MLD, FNC, Musicworks, KQ, Source Music, RBW, P Nation, Swing, and Yehua.
That's
Jesus.
a lot of
My.
companies.
It's like everyone but YG, right? It is.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
big oof.
Starship's not on here either. So, but those are like the
Oh,
notable
yeah.
ones that are missing, I think.
I mean, Yuhua is, and they're kind of buddies. So.
But the questionnaire was divided into 5 areas: top boy group, top girl group, top solo artist, top rookie group, and top producer. For fairness, each representative was not allowed to select their own agency's artist, and they ranked acts from 1st to 5th place in each category, where 1st place was awarded 5 points and 5th place was awarded 1 point. So the maximum points you can get was 95, right? Wow. Yeah, because you wouldn't get 5 from your own artist, right? All right, with that all being said, that's the groundwork. Let's get into it. So we will be going over the results. So the first one is top boy group. No surprise here, BTS came in 1st place with 94 out of a possible 95 points.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus.
2nd place was EXO with 52. 3rd place, 17 with 42. 4th place, Monsta X with 21. 5th place, Newest with 20. 6th place, NCT as a whole with 15. 7th place, ironically, GOT7 with 13. 8th place, ATEEZ with 9. 9th place, TXT with 7. And crazy, Big Bang in 10th place with 6.
Oh my.
So those were the top 10.
Real quick, just to clarify, is this limited? Is this limited to the past 30 years, or like limited to like 2019, or like?
This is, from what I understand, like 2020, right when you're taking this poll.
So as of right
Currently.
As of right now.
Okay.
now. Okay.
So so a good thing you said that, because the things that stood out to me, number one, like outside the top 10, but in the rest of the polling, there are a ton of really old groups.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like Shinhwa came in 12th place with 4 points. HOT in 14th with 2. Like 2PM got a point. Super Junior got a point, right? Although I think Super Junior is still doing fine. The notable people who I thought got kind of screwed in this polling, the biggest, most egregious one for me was Stray Kids getting no points. Stray Kids got no points, even though they were 9th place in 2019 sales for boy groups.
Yeah.
And groups that did get points over them were like ONEUS, Pentagon, Golden Child.
Not so little, yeah.
It just seems weird to me that Stray Kids got no points. Additionally, Super Junior was only in 15th place, and they were 8th in sales in 2019. I don't know what was going on there.
I'm gonna try to look up the original article.
Yeah, so a quick aside for Warren, one of those 2 links in our script is the Korean article, I believe.
You found the Korean article. Okay. Gotcha.
But
no, it's Stumpy.
oh, never mind. You could find that. But Anita, what are your opinions or initial takes of this ranking?
Oh, I'm really surprised at some of the rookie groups that are mentioned here, to be honest, because I feel like there's some that I feel like, yes, I feel like they're in big companies. They're kind of expected to be pretty big from the start.
Mhm.
But like ATEEZ, ONEUS, it's kind of interesting that they're being recognized by other agencies as well.
Yeah,
As
SF9
competition,
is
I would
in 11th place with 5 points, right?
Mhm.
I think that has a lot to do with the perception of their members as actors, as much as it does with the music. Don't you? Would you agree with that, Anita?
Yeah, because I feel like SF9 does have some popularity. I don't know if it's directly correlated with their music, because a lot of them do side stuff.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It's so interesting to see how, I guess, other people in their industry view essentially
Yeah, 'cause-
competition.
This is like a really interesting thing, because how often do we get to poll like inside, like people in these
Yeah.
agencies and see what
Right,
they're
right.
thinking?
So I'm reading the original article.
Mhm.
And I don't know. It's a little vague as to what they're voting for. The time isn't really chosen. They're voting for top boy group, the industry power people. Power people, I would assume they're trying to reference towards like people that are most influential.
Yeah, but still, that's like, it's all like K-pop encompasses more than just the music. It's brand, all that stuff, right?
Yes.
I think this is supposed to be like brand and like.
But it makes sense then why SF9 is 11th a lot more.
Yeah,
Mm.
I agree.
But something that's let's look at it. So BTS on top, that makes sense.
Right.
I wonder who gave them second place. That's something I would like to know, right now. In 2020, who gave them second place on one of their ballots?
Oh man.
Additionally, it's an interesting move for me to see 17 in 3 and EXO in 2. Because I think there is an argument to be made that the torch has been passed a little bit because of EXO, a lot of the members in the military, that kind of thing.
I mean,
I think we're going by brand though.
I agree with the top 4. I don't know if I agree with the order, but the top 4 of BTS, EXO, 17, Monsta X, I think that's fair.
I agree with that as well.
And then we got Newest, NCT, GOT7, ATEEZ. It's really cool that ATEEZ is in 8th because people are really feeling ATEEZ right now in KQ.
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
And then Monster Rookies, TXT, Big Bang got 6 points. I know their brand is still Big Bang, right? It's a big brand.
Yes. I do think last year, especially with the entire Seungri scandal that exploded entire year, if anything, I would argue that kind of brought down the Big Bang brand power, and I might argue it's the lowest it's ever been.
I would have liked to see in 10th place either SF9 or Super Junior or Stray Kids. I think are more. I wouldn't say deserving, but I think it makes more sense.
I do think Super Junior kind of got stolen here. Like,
yeah, they kind of got wrecked with only 1 point. Like,
I mean, I guess the individual members' influence is a lot stronger than the Super Junior brand name, but like, I don't know, like 1 point, guys.
Yeah, but I think that summarizes boy groups.
Yeah.
It's. I love looking at these kind of statistics because how often do we get this, right?
Right.
Next, top girl group. So no surprises here. First place, Twice with 83 points. Second place, Red Velvet, 45. Third place, Blackpink with 40. Fourth place, IZ*ONE with 25. Fifth place, G-Idol, 24. Sixth place, Mamamoo, 21. Seventh place, Luna with 12 points.
Ooh.
Eighth place, ITZY with 8. Ninth place, G-Friend. I think ITZY had 10 points. G-Friend had 8 points. 10th place, Girls' Generation with 5 points.
I will double check.
Okay, my notable exceptions here. Uju Sonyo got no points.
What?
Even though they were 5th place among girl groups with album sales in 2019.
Oh, jeez. What did we do to you guys?
Additionally, a group like From Miss 9, who was 9th place in sales, didn't get any points, but the bigger, more egregious one is probably Uju Sonyo. And then Dreamcatcher. I'll talk about that next.
Oh my god.
And then Dreamcatcher came in 10th place last year in album sales, and they only got 1 point as well. But here are some other groups that got points, which is a little bit strange. So, Girls' Generation in 5th place. I mean, in 10th place with 5 points. Wonder Girls with 4 points in 11th place. Finkel with 2 points in 12th place. And then 21 got 1 point somehow.
Who gave 21 a point?
I don't know.
Look, I love 21. I love 21. Don't get me wrong, but they're disbanded.
I know.
Oh man.
But let's talk about the things that are still going on, right? That's the main thing. I think top 4 was in the correct positions, right order. So I'm talking Twice, Red Velvet, Blackpink, IZ*ONE. I think that is fair.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we got G-Idol, Mamamoo, and Luna in 5th, 6th, and 7th. I would personally argue that Mamamoo's 5th.
I agree.
I don't know. I don't really see a big enough difference. Shout out to my dad who just walked behind me.
Shout out to YZ.
I just lost all focus. I agree. Never mind. I forgot my argument.
There was another. So I don't know the exact source, but there's a group of people who do brand reputation every month, right? That's like their thing every month.
The Gillab.
You know who was first place among girl groups? Luna last month. And overall, they were second to BTS in brand reputation out of all K-pop.
Their brand reputation reports monthly fluctuates a little too often for it to be a good statistical report.
So
in my
here's some
opinion.
other things. G-Friend in 9th place. I think they should be a little bit higher considering their latest release. I think putting Luna over ITZY is interesting too. Because
Yes, I was interesting to see them lower than a lot of these groups, to be honest.
Real quick, ITZY had 11 votes.
Okay.
G-Friend had 10 votes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Cool.
You know, they based on these points, they view Luna, ITZY, and G-Friend as about. So there's like tiers in this, right?
Right.
Twice is alone at the top. Then you got Red Velvet and Blackpink together.
Right.
Then you got IZ*ONE and G-Idol, and Mamamoo.
Right.
That's a grouping. And then you got Luna, ITZY, G-Friend.
And I generally agree with that. I do. I don't. Look. I know ITZY's recent comebacks have been madly successful, but I don't think I would. I don't think they have like the reputation yet built up. It's getting there. It's definitely getting there. It's just a matter of time at this point. And G-Friend doesn't have that same like oomph that it did like back when they were first flipping on stages over there, right?
Okay.
I don't know. I think this kind of makes sense to me.
I think this one makes more sense than. No, actually, I think both the guy group and girl group, for the most part, do make sense. I'm
feel
not
like if I think about it as like in the moment, like right now, like I can see how they were justified, but if I think in the grand scheme of things, just like as a whole, what the group did when they were active and like when they were at their peak, then I feel like I might disagree with a lot of the listing. But since it seems like it's very much in the moment, like currently, I guess I would agree for the most part.
Here's the thing: even with like a brand reputation right now, right? I couldn't give I respect the OGs, right? Respect the groups that have come before these ones who have done a lot in the industry, but like how I don't see the argument where you can say like 21 has more brand reputation than some groups right now. I just don't see the argument.
Well, yeah. Right now.
Right now, because this, even if this is a brand reputation or is this how you're viewing the industry, it doesn't make sense either way to me. Like, and for me, Uju Sonyo getting no points is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's so confusing.
That's stupid ridiculous.
I mean, like, I'm not gonna trash other groups, but I feel like if you're gonna give Everglow a point and you're gonna give Momoland 2 points, Uju Sonyo deserves some points too.
And Rocket Punch.
With -3 points.
Oh, what?
Horrible, man.
Oh
man.
All right, so that's girl groups. Let's move on to soloists.
Okay.
First place, IU at 74. Second place, Taeyeon at 57. Third place, Chungha at 42. Fourth place, Zico at 29. Fifth place, Sunmi at 19. Sixth place, Paul Kim at 11. Seventh place, Kang Daniel at 10. Eighth place, Baekhyun at 9. Ninth place, Song Gain at 6. That is not Gain from Brown Eyed Girls. That is Song Gain, the trot singer. 10th place, Rain at 5 points. I got distracted by Warren's dad again. Shout out to my dad. So that's the top 10, right? Hwasa got a point, Somi got a point, Chen got a point, right? Baekhyun got 3, Hayes got 4, Taemin got 4.
Who's Luri?
I am not sure. But the person who is missing on this list, Hyuna got no points.
Yes.
Goofda.
Right? Like,
Hyuna.
obviously 1 point doesn't mean much, but if Somi's getting a point, like Hyuna deserves a point, right?
Yes.
Wait. No, never mind. I thought I found who Luri was, but I don't. Never mind. Yeah, this is kind of weird.
Well, a couple things that stand out to me. I know Zico is big in the last 6 months, particularly because of last month's Any Song, right? So that probably plays the fact that it's recent.
Yeah.
The top though, IU, Taeyeon, Chungha. I agree with that ordering of them. I would probably put Zico a little bit higher because of how crazy Any Song has been. But in terms of the girl group, the female solo artists right now, IU, Taeyeon, Chungha, Sunmi, Baekhyun. I think you put Hyuna somewhere in there, and you put Hwasa after that, but it kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I might put Hyuna after Sunmi, after Yerin, after Haze. Maybe I don't know. Her last year's song just was a big flop, right?
Mm.
I mean, look, she's a legend at this point,
Mm-hmm.
but the kind of emotions the name Hyuna brings in is different from 4 years ago. You know,
That's true.
it's not the same anymore. She definitely is showing a bit of a slump in her career per se. At that point I do get it, but no point to the little, you know.
Yeah, man. None of these
think at
people
least
taking the
one.
flower shower. Come on.
Who gave Luri a point? Who is Luri? Please leave a comment if you guys know who Luri is.
Yes.
Other things. Song Gain getting 6 points. So if you don't know, there was a show called, I think, Trot Queen or something to that extent, where it was a trot competition, right? Trot is in Korea right now. I don't know how to tell you all this, but Trot is super in. There was a male version, Mr. Trot. That was the guy
Whoa.
version. It broke like all the cable records. So
Wait, I
Trot,
know-
which
I think Xia Junsu is in Mr. Cha, or he's in the program for some reason.
who?
Junsu, I believe.
Oh, okay.
He was.
What
He
is
was.
the
I don't know. I think he was in it.
Interesting.
Anyway,
But-
continue.
I found who Luri is.
okay,
Oh.
who is it?
You guys might know who she is. She's an IBI.
IBI.
Oh.
Really?
Remember, like, produced season 1?
Yeah.
Is that
Oh,
that's a stage name, isn't it?
I'm trying to find her, like, produced 101 name, which was Lee Soo-hyun.
Oh, Lee Soo-hyun. I know who she is. She's the girl who kept getting the last place before elimination for a bunch of the eliminations.
Oh, jeez.
But okay, one other thing here. Rain getting 5 points.
What is he doing there?
I think they're throwing him a bone, right? Like,
Interesting.
Maybe they're just trolling. They're like, let's give Rain a couple points.
I don't know.
Man.
Please
I
go
don't
listen
know.
to Rain's Gang and get back to me.
Oh,
on that.
Jesus.
Just throwing that out there. But
Stop. Let's move on.
for the most part though, I agree with a lot of the people in the top 10. I'm going to say I agree with like 9 out of the 10.
I generally
That's-
agree, yeah.
All right, let's move on to rookie artists. We're only going to name a top 5 here, but first place ITZY with 56 points, second place TXT with 43, third place ATEEZ with 30, fourth place AB6 with 9, and fifth place Everglow with 6. One thing I want to notice, but point out is that they gave a lot of points after top 5 to groups that I don't consider rookie groups anymore.
They did.
Being that like G-Idol got 5, Luna got 4. You know,
Big Gideon got 3.
yeah, Becky
Bro.
didn't got 3. Yeah.
What's she doing there?
Here's some things that are like outside the rookie groups. I think those are the big rookie groups right now. I
Right.
think that's a pretty fair statement. And other ones are like CIX got points, Very Very got some points. ANS got 5 points.
Who is ANS?
ANS is a girl group. I know who they are. They released, I believe, 1 song so far, maybe 2. They're a girl group, rookie group.
Say my name?
Yeah, they got the same amount of points as G-Idol in this ranking.
Luck. Rocket Punch needs to be in here somewhere. And I'm normally when I mention their name, I'm kind of joking. I'm not with this one. Like, jeez, not a single point.
Homie, if Rocket Punch is getting points, then where's Cherry Bullet's points? Just saying.
Exactly.
I think we're above Cherry Bullet. In all frankness, fight me.
Okay, but we got DBK, which I believe just debuted maybe 2-3 months ago. I mean DKB and
Interesting.
CIX only got 1 point too. I think CIX should have got a little bit more than that.
I agree.
I think AB6 is doing better than CIX right now, but at the same time CIX only getting 1. I don't know, just my opinion.
That big drop from number 3 to 4 is so interesting.
Yeah, so we have ITZY 57, TXT 43, ATEEZ with 30, and then it drops significantly to AB6 at 9, Everglow at 6.
I don't know. Like, G-Idol's been around for like 3 years. Luna's been around for like 2 years at least. Like, probably something closer to 3 at this point.
No, they've been around for 2, if you
2.5.
count the actual 12-member releases.
Right.
And they've been around for, I want to say 4, 5, if you count all the stuff.
Right, and then like what? Big Hidden debuted as like 15 and in like 2012 or something like that. Like,
I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like they gave them a list where they're like, pick out of this. They said, write in who you want, right?
But like, I don't know. Why'd they vote for a person who's been around for 7 years as a rookie? That's my question. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a little, I don't know. But let's move on.
At the end of the day, I think the most interesting thing is ANS getting 5.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a little funky.
I wouldn't call it funky. It's just surprising to me because it seems that the insiders are just really onto them right now.
I guess.
Lastly, let's go on to top producer. So in first place, we had Bang PD from Big Hit, 71 points. Second place, Isuman, 29. Third place, Park Jin-young, JYP with 21. Fourth place, P-Dog, who was one of the Big Hit producers with 19. And then fifth place, Zico with 14. I'm going to name a couple more, notably. In sixth place, we have Kim Do-hoon, who is the main producer for RBW. Seventh place, Teddy with 5. So that's YG representing there.
I hate him too. My God.
All right, well, hate is a very strong word. Eighth place, Changmo with 4.
Oh, I love him. Okay, I'll stop.
Yeah, you should stop. But I think the top 5 makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not too surprised. Yeah.
I mean, Bang PD number 1, 100% makes sense right now. In P-Dog getting 4 makes sense to me. And then you look at, I know JYP is a top company, but I think the perception is that SM is the bigger company, right? Mm-hmm. And Isuman, honestly, they would be, as Koreans, they would be more likely to vote for Isuman because he's older and has more authority in the industry.
Right.
That being said, JYP getting 3rd, completely deserved. Zico getting 4th, this is the first time. I know he's the CEO and the producer of King of the Jungle KOZ, but for someone that young to get 5th place among those names is a really good look for him.
It's crazy. It is.
I don't think there's too much of a discussion here, but Warren, do you want to point anything out?
I mean, I did mention earlier that I don't like a couple of the producers. That being said, they have made a lot of hit singles in the recent years. So I don't blame that. Changmo is interesting to see in here. As much as I love him, I don't think he should be 8th. I mean, in general, Kitty Boy got 1 point at 10th with a bunch of other people like Bumzu, who produced a lot of 17 stuff.
They kind of did Yoon Jung Shin dirty with 1 point too, considering how big he's in the industry.
I don't know. His recent output has been a little, kind of low, but he should be a little higher than just 10th.
Just out of respect for his name, seriously. Yeah. All right, so I think that sums up this. It's just interesting to look at. It's interesting to look at the perception that people in these agencies have of their peers, right? Because how often do we get that? But now let's move on to the next topic. We're gonna call this K-pop Boy Group Hall of Fame. I'll explain. So in this past week, netizens on The Q, which is a forum website, debated a list of 5 K-pop boy groups that are said to summarize the 20 to 25 years of the genre. Although they didn't name it a Hall of Fame, I do think the list encapsulate many of the nuances of a Hall of Fame, being that it's an exclusive list that recognizes the top people in the industry. And I think Hall of Fame fits here because when you're opening a Hall of Fame, it's not like you're going to induct 20 groups in at once at the start, right? You pick like the top people at the beginning for your first class. So I think that's why we're going to call this a Hall of Fame. So the boy groups that were included in their list were HOT, GOD, TVXQ, Big Bang, and BTS. And that is in chronological order based on debut time, right? Shinhwa and EXO were the 2 groups not included that were mentioned the most by all netizens, with many of them saying that they would like to add the groups but not subtract any of the 5 that were in the article.
Yeah, agree.
So how do we feel about that list?
I mean, it's kind of difficult to disagree with this, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that statement where, like, there's definitely more people you can think of, but you don't want to take anybody out from this top 5.
Yeah. It's tough because clearly BTS is in this, right? Clearly, I think it's 100% BTS is in this. Big Bang, 100% in this. TVXQ, like those 3, as someone who, like, as the modern 3, right? You cannot deny that. They're in.
Yeah.
They're in, for sure. when you have the grouping of HOT, GOT, and Shinhwa, you kind of have to pick and choose out of that, right? And I think that HOT and GOD are the bigger two out of the three.
Here's what I'll say about HOT, right? Like, HOT, as far as I understand, and Anita, correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, they feel like the group that kind of set the standard for what it means to be an idol.
Right.
They kind of created this fandom culture.
Yes.
That became the root of this entire industry. I don't know if HOT or JeS was more popular. I know they were rivals at that point, but like
Yes, and I feel like they should have been included, but that's okay.
So you want them in that like Legends grouping at
'cause
least, right? The grouping
to be
of
honest,
the.
I
keep going,
kind of was under the impression that HOT and JeS were kind of like rivals at the time, right? And they like Warren said, they very much set the tone for fandom. Like fandom, I guess not necessarily rivalry, but this kind of dedication to a group and like
right.
being called a fan of this group and like colors and like showing up to support them on live shows and all of that. So I feel like if you mention one, you kind of have to mention the other because they were very much in line at the same time, and they set the tone for this boy group phenomena culture.
Right.
But I do feel like HOT lasted longer and has done some things that Techies was not really able to do because of disbandment. So I get the argument, but I do feel like you should recognize them as well.
Would you say you would take somebody out and put JeS in?
Well, see, I don't, because I agree with this list of 5. Because I feel like God was also very, very much, I don't know, very much in line with what was popular culture at the time, and they're always mentioned, they're always recognized, even till today. I don't want to take them out, but I do feel like, of course, I don't know, I would like to give more awards, like more spots out of this top 5, but it's tough.
I'm looking at one of the major end of the year music show survey results in 1998, which they had a whole statistical thing going with like non-biased samples and whatnot. First place is HOT with Light.
Right, yes.
And then
they're big.
JeS was 5th place. After a bunch of solo artists.
I would argue that they should be in the discussion, but I think HOT is the correct choice. If it came down to HOT or JeS, I think you have to give it to HOT.
Just looks like it, yeah.
Now, let's talk about the thing that most of modern fans would know. So the exclusion of EXO, right?
Right.
That's a tough decision. I like.
Here's the thing: EXO was big. They had a huge. Their popularity crazy. It was the craziest fandom I've ever seen. Like crazy. Like wow, the level of dedication that people went to. It was the first time where I realized, man, being a fan might be unhealthy for you. Like,
no.
This was when I started seeing certain people get really unhealthy with the way they become a fan, because like this was when like sasaengs became a serious issue, right? And like,
yes.
I mean, sure, there were sasaengs before that, but like it was never a level up until this point. That being said, from a casual listener standpoint, and I don't have statistics to back this up, but I have difficulty saying EXO has had the same amount of influence on the general population as they did with Big Bang or TVXQ.
It's tough because EXO does have the most music show-ins in history.
Right,
107. Right? We're like picking through fine hairs at this point. It seemed that most people in the comment section of both the Korean article and the translated English ones were like, EXO's the 6th man up if we could put them in. That's what almost everyone was saying.
Yeah.
It's tough because if you had this list 3 years ago, they would be in it over BTS probably, because BTS had the meteoric rise starting in, I want to say 2017, 16, 17, 18, in that range, right? If this article came out 5 years ago, it would be EXO, 100%, right? 5 years ago, for sure. It's so tough to pick 5, right? Like, I feel like Super Junior deserves a shout out here, right?
Yes.
Like,
Oh my gosh. Yes. Super Junior.
Right? I feel like they deserve a shout, honestly. I don't know. And then if we want to expand it even more, right? You could shout out like the next. I don't want to call it tear down, but like people who might get a little bit of a mention are like Beast. The original run as Beast was pretty crazy, I think. I know Warren doesn't agree with that because the way he just moved, but
I see your point though.
Too.
No, I see your point though. I don't disagree with it 100%.
No, okay, no, you're right. But I think the big argument would be like I think the netizens got it right where Shinhwa and EXO are the next up for sure.
Yes.
Right. I definitely think Shina and EXO are the next one up, and I'm trying to think.
I wish they could have just done 7, because if they're 7, then I think it's pretty like, all right, that makes sense. But
it could have been Kami 7.
Kami 7.
That's a Japanese reference. Nobody's gonna get that. I'm sorry.
So now let's do something fun, right?
Okay.
This article was about guy groups. I want us to talk about this and girl groups. So Girl Group Hall of Fame. I tried to think of a list here, right? Okay. I failed massively, and I was only able to pick 4 out of 5. The 4 that I 100% want in this: SCS, Girls' Generation, 21, and Twice.
Okay.
I find it very hard to argue against any of those 4.
I know you're gonna probably go into it, but why did you choose SCS over Finkel?
I think that their legacy is so much bigger, even to today.
Really?
I think if you ask many fans if it's a choice between SCS and Finkel, who's more legendary, SCS would be chosen. What about you?
Nina, do you have anything to say real quick?
Well, it's a very interesting dilemma because it's very similar to HOT.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah,
obviously.
Whereas it was like, well, I wouldn't say there was a rivalry as apparent as it was with HOT and Text Keys, but I do feel like SES Finkel were very much like the female version of like girl groups, doing the same thing with fandom and like what girl groups do as far as like K-pop culture. So I don't know. I feel like Finkel for the cultural significance of the group, right, and the start of K-pop, I do feel like Finkel should be somewhere in here mentioned, if not right next to SES. But I also understand what Doug is saying about SES having a very similar thing with HOT, where it seems like they had more.
You know what they're hurt by?
Mm.
You know what Finkel is hurt by? The fact that Ihori was so successful after leaving.
That's what I was about to say.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because the perception is, like, at the time, Finkel was huge, but the perception now is Ihori. Well, the group disbanded. Ihori went solo, megastar. That's they're hurt by that legacy. Now that's not saying anything bad about Finkel. It's just saying that Ihori's solo career after is so significant in K-pop history.
Right.
So I named 4 groups: SES, Girls' Generation, 21, Twice. The 2 that I was debating between was either Finkel, as we talked about, and Wonder Girls. But Wonder Girls is in a similar situation with Girls' Generation and Wonder Girls, right?
Yeah.
I know objectively Girls' Generation is bigger than Wonder Girls, but Wonder Girls were not that far behind in terms of cultural impact,
really
I thought.
big.
Because here's the thing. SNSD had a crazy career. At one point I remember that their rival was Wonder Girls, and at one point I remember their rival was Kara.
Yep. That was the next thing I was gonna say.
And at that point I'm wondering, wait a minute, Girls' Generation had the career capabilities to rival 2 full groups. What is it? Would it be worth? Here's the thing. Wonder Girls had a great career. They were amazing up until the point JYP pulled the biggest bamboozle of the industry, and we're like, oh, we're gonna go to America. And like,
Yep, you're so right with that. You're so right.
They
Right.
just disappeared. They were at the peak of everything. Girl Generation, you kidding? Wonder Girls was way above Girl Generation.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
Ooh.
Everybody will do tell me, tell me, tell
That's
me,
true.
right?
Still,
My
I think
face
that's a
is
take. I think that's a take. But keep going.
Okay. Anyways, they were at the peak of peak, and then they disappeared. And if it weren't for that, I would give that last 5th place to Wonder Girls.
You know, other
But
groups that I wanted to mention. So in the I'm gonna call it the legends category. A lot of people were mentioning Baby Vox, but I think SES and Finkel were in a category above them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
In terms of I'm gonna say what I consider like Gen 2 groups. Another group I want to mention is Tiara, which had a really high point at one point. Like they were spiking. And then in the contemporary groups, obviously people are gonna mention Red Velvet, Blackpink. I think at this point, because of the amount of songs, Red Velvet's clearly above in terms of legacy. I don't know. I don't know who I would. Are you guys okay with those 4 though? SCS, Girls' Generation,
agree.
21
I'm
Twice.
solid. Yeah.
Who would you put in number 4? That's my,
Can I just not choose a 5th?
no, you
Did they
need to
get
choose a
4?
5th.
I feel like this 5 is a complete list. And
4.
like
4.
yeah, sorry, this 4 is a complete list. Adding any makes it just so complicated. Like
So you think if you add one more, you need to add about 3 more?
yeah. Like if I add Kara, I'm gonna add Wonder Girls on there. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I take it back. I'm gonna put Kara as 5th. Boom.
Kara is 5th.
Ooh.
Anita, who would you be leaning towards?
To be honest, I feel like I was kind of pushing or thinking that Wonder Girls deserved it for, I guess, their overall career. But then when Warren mentioned the whole US thing, I guess it did dip
Nickelodeon.
a bit towards the end. But then I guess, I don't know, I feel like Kara for sure had its influence. Like there was a lot of stuff that they did that I feel was significant enough and memorable enough. But I don't know if it's more than the Wonder Girls. Like
Here's why I think I would choose Kara over Wonder Girls. If I had to pick a 5th, I'm still happy with the 4 I have.
yeah.
Wonder Girls went to America.
Right.
Kara went to Japan. Kara became the
Oh.
top in Japan.
That's true.
Wonder Girls
kinda right.
disappeared into the abyss.
Yeah,
Which-
but this is about like K-pop legacy. I think that's what they were going for. I get your point. If we talk about like the encapsulating everything, I think the Kara run in Japan it's like the TVXQ run in Japan.
Oh,
It is,
yeah.
level.
It is.
Yes.
Next
No, it
level.
is. They pretty much opened up a whole new market, the same level TVXQ did, or like definitely on a different scale, but like the same way BTS
For
did.
me, in my head, I argue between 4 groups for the
Okay.
5th spot.
Okay.
Finkel, Wonder Girls, Kara. I think Red Velvet, personally. I don't know why.
Oh.
Red Velvet, really.
Oh.
I know that they are directly compared to Twice, right? Like it's one of those situations where you're placed in a certain era, right? For example, there are very good basketball players who played when Michael Jordan played, who are like all-timers. But because Michael Jordan's around, you're looked at as the people who lost to Michael Jordan, who
Right.
aren't as good as
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. I feel like that's the case. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
But would you put them over like Wonder Girls and Kara?
At this point, I'm gonna need a couple more years in order to make that call. Honestly, I know Red Velvet has been around for a while now, and I know SM is flirting with the idea of having another girl group this year.
Yes.
look, Red Velvet, their discography is wonderful. It's one of the best.
No. You're right. If we think about legendary songs, Wonder Girls had more legendary songs up to this point.
Baby,
Right.
2 different tears, and like,
Yeah.
Tell me.
Tell me,
I want
nobody.
nobody,
Be my
nobody.
baby.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Oh my gosh.
I would
yes.
mention. I would at least mention them in the discussion, to be honest. But I see. So you're really stuck between Wonder Girls and Kara, right? And then you chose Kara over the Wonder Girls because of the Japanese promotion.
Yes, because to me, these people have to be game changers.
Yeah.
Kara was a game changer.
I kind of agree with you that I would. really prefer it to be 4 because I think that does summarize everything.
Yeah.
It makes things cleaner.
And then when we're picking a 5th, we're more or less picking one of the 4's rival, not its entity. But I don't know if that argument holds because God had a little bit of overlap. I thought
I would
Not as
argue
much, though.
God was a
its own thing.
They definitely had an entire game-changing moment with like genre-breaking moments and their use of media.
All right, Anita, Warren wants Kara. Are you okay with putting Kara as our number 5?
What is your vote?
I want to know your vote, Anita. I asked you.
I'm sorry, Doug. I'm gonna make it a little hard for you. I'm gonna put Wonder Girls then.
Oh, you suck, Anita.
Hey.
I'm sorry.
Okay, let me think about this now. Wonder Girls, 40 music show wins.
Hey, pretty girl.
Hey, we're trying to be unbiased here, sir.
No, bring all the bias in.
So Wonder Girls 40 music show wins. Kara 26. That's a significant difference. Now, I know if there was an equivalent of music show wins in Japan, Kara would be at like 70, I would assume.
Right.
But there isn't. And this is a list of being influential in K-pop, right?
Wow.
What?
No. I'm just. I'm just hyping you up.
This is such a tough decision.
It's hard.
I feel that Kara suffers from the fact that they had a lineup change at the end.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Wonder Girls also had a lineup change at the end.
I know that, but you know that last run for Wonder Girls was like its own thing with the band concept.
Yeah. Oh,
It was so far removed that you're like, Wonder Girls? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Remember Harim? Harim?
Yeah.
Much as I love her, it was once she joined, that was like the lower phase of Wonder Girls for me. As much as I think she's a great vocalist and whatnot, it's just kind of that was when they just kind of like went into the abyss with like 2 different tiers and whatnot.
I don't know, fam.
How about we do this? Leave your opinions in the
below, and you'll determine. We'll say what one next. All right, let's do that. Let's do that. All right, I'm sorry, everyone at home. We think there's 4. SCS, Girls' Generation, 21 or Twice. You tell us between Kara and Wonder Girls who the 5th group should be, and we will report back next week.
Yeah, let's make that one of the question of the days.
You could email us. You could tell us on Discord. You could do it in the YouTube comments. Whatever you want. Tell us who you think. We'll tally it up, and we'll let you know who the 5th group is.
DM
and
us
if you
on
think
Instagram.
if you think it's another group, let us know there because you might have an argument for that.
I think it should be Rocket Punch. I will vote for Rocket Punch.
개소리야 이게. Next, let's move on to continued COVID-19 coronavirus coverage. So the number of coronavirus cases in Korea rose to a total of about 9,000 with 111 reported deaths at the time of this recording. There were a bunch of relevant articles, but I'm going to summarize them real quick. Twice's Jui returned from Taiwan to Korea going through Incheon International Airport. So she went to Taiwan to visit her family. And then in Taiwan, she had to be quarantined in her home for 14 days because that's what they're doing. So essentially, she went there to be quarantined for 14 days and then came back.
Jeez.
All right.
But she got to see a lot of her family because, she was stuck in her house for 14 days. So that's the thing. And then JYP, the company spoke to media outlets saying that she's healthy and she will be resuming her schedules with the group. So that's cool. ATEEZ postponed their US tour. Ravi delayed his world tour and Kara delayed their European tour. Next, Namdo Hyun and Hangul pushed back their debut album from March 26th to April 21st. And then finally, BTS will be postponing the ticket sales of the European leg of their Map of the Soul World Tour. So last month, they announced that the Seoul kickoff part, which was I think 4 dates, was canceled in entirety. US is up in the air, and now they are delaying the sales of the European leg. Boom. Let's just go straight into quick takes. So Mnet confirmed the full lineup of Road to Kingdom. It now consists of 7 boy groups: Pentagon, On and Off, Golden Child, The Boys, Very Very, One Us, and 2. So those are the 7 groups.
Interesting.
Next, Kang Daniel and Zico will be reportedly release a song together for Pepsi's 2020 Global K-pop Project.
Oh, jeez.
That's a power combo.
That's a power combo.
Another Zico news. So any song surpassed iKON's Love Scenario to set new records for the most number ones on Gaion's weekly digital charts. So it went number one on the weekly chart 7 times.
Wow.
So for 7 weeks, it's been number one. Next, EXID's Solji. Well, former member of EXID, Solji. They kind of have this weird, like, frozen period. She's, like, technically in it, but they're not really promoting. But she signed with C-JeS Entertainment, which is home of JYJ and Gummy.
Yes.
Weird move.
Interesting.
Next one, Yoona Kim stated on SNS that the duo group Khan has disbanded. There was no official announcement from Maru, I believe. Yoona Kim has had one of the saddest careers I think I've ever seen. So we first saw her on Superstar K3, Season 3. She then was in The Arc, which got one song, then disbanded. Then she was on Unpretty Rap Star 3, which she did not win. Then she was on The Unit, where she placed 10th place, and they were only taking the top 9 to debut.
Oh.
And then she was in Khan, which only got one song. Rough.
The Arc. Such a good.
Yeah, The Arc was actually low-key fire, but best of luck to
Yeah.
Yoona Kim. Next, BTS and Big Hit Entertainment revealed more details about Learn Korean with BTS. So the videos will be launched through Weverse, and fans will be able to learn Korean through translations of Run BTS, Bangtan Bomb, and BTS episodes. So they're basically going to be teaching you Korean through some of the existing BTS video content. Fans will be able to learn phrases that BTS members often use and also learn basic Korean grammar and culture. I think that's great. There will be a total of 30 episodes, with each one being around 3 minutes long, that will be released every Monday from when they start.
This is great. That's
Lastly, in
wonderful.
big oof news, JYP Entertainment confirmed that Twice's Nayeon has withdrawn the restraining order against her foreign stalker, but will continue to pursue legal action and criminal charges. Additionally, the label stated that they will have the restraining order refiled if the stalker enters Korea again, and will seek for him to be arrested at the airport or upon entry.
Huh.
I mean, all of that makes sense to me, I think.
I mean, my hope is that the foreign stalker doesn't do anything for forever.
Yeah,
But,
there
like,
was a
man.
leak about 3 weeks ago where he was saying, like, if I can't be with her, she's not. I don't know how to put this, but it was minorly insinuating death threats.
Oh my gosh, what?
Yeah.
All right. Oh man. Okay.
And he was telling people this through DMs, not out in the open, so it's showing what he really thinks. It's pretty creepy and bad. And obviously, JYP's well aware of this, so I trust them. But Warren, hit us with them comebacks and releases.
Alrighty. March 24th on Tuesday, ONEUS is coming back, and Kang Daniel is coming back. On March 25th, we have Ong Sung-woo, who is also coming back. On the other confirmed comeback news, we have G-Idol for April 6th, Winner for April 9th, and Oh My Girl for late April.
Boom.
Late April.
Next week, Kang Daniel versus Ong Sung-woo. I'm excited to see that.
That's
The
gonna
two
be
former
interesting.
101 bros.
The
Also,
buddies
I
gonna
want
fight it out.
us to double down on the Korean to piss Warren off more. that's my wish for next
Do
week.
not want. Do not want.
Okay, but I want them to wear like the sangmo, the thing that you spin your head. I want all that, yo. I want one of them
man.
to dress like an executioner and spit some makgeolli on an executioner sword.
Oh, what?
Oh.
All these motifs.
No.
I want all of it.
Look, it's gonna be tomorrow as of recording date and the day before release date. I'll check it out and let you guys give you guys a sneak preview in the Discord.
If you want to know what, yeah, hit up the Discord if you want to know what Warren thinks about the ONEUS song before we review it next week.
I hope I
But
like it. I'll be honest. I hope I like.
Now also I'm excited for Oh My Girl. That's hype. G-Idol,
Yes.
Winner,
Oh,
all
yeah.
great stuff. Let's move on to State of the Nation now. So, quarantine lockdown, y'all. Like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Especially in the US. I know the majority of our listeners are here. It's popping off, especially if you're in it's popping off across the country, but particularly the tri-state areas kind of getting hammered. Washington, California, Michigan's kind of bad too, which is strange.
Yeah.
It's rough, and a lot of my time is spent reading normal news for once and not K-pop news.
Right.
It's a weird scenario because That being said, our Discord has been a good source of social interaction because I'm stuck at home and like I like my parents and my sister, but like I don't want to only talk to them. Sorry.
Shout out to Doug's family who's listening.
I mean, they're probably sick of my ugly face too. Let's be straight up here. Yeah, but you know, it's tough, but we gonna get through this. Don't worry. But as of right now, if you're in an essential job and you got to go out, just be safe. We're thinking about you, hoping you're doing well. If you're at home, you know, be responsible. Don't do anything stupid. If you're on your walk out in a park, which is a great thing, you see other people coming, maybe walk on the grass a little, avoid them some.
The other way. Walk the other way.
I mean, yeah, maybe the other way, but like, don't do stupid things, y'all. Like, don't do stupid things. Be smart about this because at the end of the day, we're young. We have a low probability of dying. But there are older people that we should be protecting because, you know, these older people in our families and our peers, grandparents and grandma and grandpa, they're like the reason we're here is because of them. We should protect them. They've been protecting us their whole lives. So how about we do the favor for them? In terms of K-pop though, ITZY's Wannabe, I've been watching all of the choreography versions of that. There's a YouTube channel called Studio Choom. I love their performance videos. Such great HD quality, 4K, like white room background, so there's no like crazy things distracting you, close-ups. It's awesome. Check out that channel. That's all I've been doing. I have been watching. Lisa is a judge on a Chinese competition show right now.
Oh wow.
I don't know if it's the latest season of Idol Producer, but it is it's not the Produce series. It's something else.
Huh.
And it also has the guy who got first place, I believe, on season 1 of Idol Producer as one of the judges too. So that's the thing. It's interesting because she's on there. She doesn't speak Chinese, so they're translating to her. But in the interviews, she's speaking Thai. So they have a Thai to Chinese translator, but not a English to Chinese translator. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. But on that show, it's girl groups. They're making a girl group. There are so many visuals on that show. Like 70% of that show are visuals. And the talent level is through the roof.
Oh,
it's
so
shocking.
Everything is above the roof.
You know what else they're doing? This is the craziest thing they told you on episode 1. When you audition, you pick a song on most of these shows, right? They lined it up so that there are 2 companies doing the same song, every song.
Wait, what?
So let's say you did. That was a lag, but let's say you're doing Wonder Girls Tell Me, right? And let's say we are from Woolim, right? You go there and they're like, who's doing Tell Me? You raise your hand, and then Fantagio raises their hand. We're doing Tell Me too.
Oh.
So every company is competing against another company in round 1 to evaluate.
Wait, that's actually pretty. Yo, that's vicious.
It's vicious.
Yo.
And they did it like, so they're letting one group go, not the other group, and then they judge them while they're all standing there. Like, you weren't that good. You were good. This company's doing well. That kind of thing.
Right in their faces?
Yeah, like straight up. And then they're also doing like, let's say someone has their Chunga moment where they, in the first audition, go ham, right? The judges turn around, they're like, who can do better than this girl?
Yo.
And then some kids raise their hand and they bring them down and they make them go.
Yo. Wait, this is so mean.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome. I'm only on episode 2, but it's already pretty crazy. But Warren, what have you been doing in the world of K-pop? Hopefully Anita will be back by the time it's her turn.
Real quick, it looks like the show Doug is watching is called Youth with You.
Yep.
Chengchun Yoni is the title. I might check this out. I'm kind of bored because I'm also stuck at home. I am working remote. I have been lucky enough to be doing that with the kind of IT designer job I have. I don't know. It's kind of been a crazy week in terms of that. My parents were getting concerned with the rising numbers in New York, and I ended up coming back to Michigan, which again is all possible because I am lucky enough to have this kind of profession. That being said, I did have a conversation with the person who works at a grocery store right before I came, and it's wild. It's crazy. Anita's back.
Yes.
it's crazy. And if and I don't know if anybody listening is gonna have. Well, I don't know if anybody in that field is gonna have the time to be checking out our podcast. But if you are, if you do work in that field of profession, whether you work at a supermarket or whether you're a FedEx delivery person or whether you actually work as a nurse or a doctor at a hospital, in the front lines battling this right now, I just want to take this time to say thank you. It's
Thank you.
It's wild.
Thank
It's
you.
crazy. It's yeah, it's I'm kind of lost for words. It's crazy, and it's
Like
yeah.
the doctors, nurses, people who have essential jobs, those people doing delivery still, like even the
Yeah.
restaurants who are still delivering food, people running food banks.
Yeah,
like, it's a group effort to combat this. And if you don't have one of those jobs and you're not out in the open, you can do your job by staying home if you're able to do so, because that is helping the cause, because it's a group effort. It's called community spread. We need the community to stop spreading. Like,
Yes.
that's the easiest way to put it. Now, it just sucks, though.
It just sucks. It just sucks. But here's the thing. We'll do what we can. We'll do what we can. We'll deliver the content that we think is great to keep anybody who thinks they're bored entertained.
Yes.
Through the world of this Korean media. That being said, that's kind of ironic because I've been still consuming a lot of Japanese music this past week.
Oh.
Hey.
But there is one Korean band that I kind of rediscovered today, and I've been kind of like jamming out to today. They're called Kotoba, Cotoba. They're a math rock band.
Man.
Math rock, it might be a bit of an obscure genre. It's just, think of it as like a type of rock music, band music that's that takes weird time signatures and uses it to bring out emotions in kind of funky different ways. They're very experimental. Again, their stuff is very experimental, but also kind of has little flavors of Japanese rock in there. That's kind of, as you can tell, their album, their band name is called Kotoba, which is literally a Japanese word. So I mean, I can't really, but they're really cool. You guys should check it out. They have an EP on Spotify with no vocals at all called Form of Tongue. It's unlike anything. It's unlike anything because there's not a lot of math rock in Asia to begin with, and they have a very distinct Asian melodic way of taking these narratives and putting them into melodies with a bit of a math rock twist. So it's great. They have a couple lives on YouTube. Cool stuff. Again, they're Cotoba, Kotoba. But yeah, that's kind of been the news with me. I'm still listening to A Singing Spica by Polka Dot Stingray, as I mentioned last week. But yeah, what have you been up to in the world of K-pop, Anita?
Well, it's not really K-pop, but in the world of Korean film, I should say.
Ooh.
So this past weekend, I also was a little bored and I checked out a film that I've had on my list of movies I've wanted to see for a while, but I never had the time or I kind of forgot. And it's called The Witch. And the full title is The Witch Part 1, The Subversion, which kind of implies that it's the first in 2 or 3 movies. It came out in 2018, and I guess some of the more notable actors that people might recognize are Choi Woo-sik, who was in Parasite.
Yep.
And okay, so this film, for me, based on the title, I thought it was going to be more, I guess, magic fantasy based, but it's not. It takes a very interesting turn, but it's very, I would say, very much, if you're into like science-y type of stuff, like genetic mutation experiments type of thing.
Jeez.
That's the vibe. But it's really interesting. The reason why I kind of found out about it was because I saw a scene from the film, and there's a lot of fighting. So it's a lot of fighting, quite a bit of gore, but it's very
Anita's
interesting.
taking a dark turn here.
Oh, yeah,
Dang.
Anita, you're not usually the type
I
to
thought you were the
gore.
flowery happy. She's like, yo,
Well,
I love gore.
jeez.
I love gore.
No, I don't love gore.
gore.
I don't love gore. I feel like, to me, I don't like slasher movies, to be honest. But I
Okay.
like action and like thriller films, and this is
So
kind of
if it's smart slashing, hey, hey.
Big brain slashers only.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think definitely check it out if you're into that kind of genre too. If it's more kind of action, like fight scenes, but there's a storyline underneath it. It's kind of a mystery. A lot of like switches, like you don't know who's good or bad or like what their intentions are. It's really interesting. And
like
I feel like for
Mafia.
me, yeah, a little bit. For me, the little, I guess, a little thing that I wasn't expecting was that the actor Choi Woo-sik, he's a very good. His character has a lot of parts where he's speaking in English, and in case you
Really?
didn't know, he is also Canadian. He grew up in Canada.
Wow.
So
What?
it's like it's really surprising because I feel like I knew he spoke English, but I wasn't aware to what extent or like his upbringing and why he learned it. But it's really interesting. So there's that, and another thing that I've been watching, and I've mentioned this before, but I didn't commit to it, but I did earlier today, and I retried my Netflix free trial, and I started watching Kingdom.
Kingdom.
Oh,
In case you guys don't know, Kingdom is a zombie historical Korean drama produced by Netflix, and
Wait.
it's really good. I
think my
really
sister
like
was trying.
it.
I think my sister was trying to get me to watch this.
You should watch it. It's really okay. For me, like I mentioned before, I can handle a bit of like not horror, but like suspense and a little bit of gore if it has some plot, like mystery, like
yeah, that sounds like you like
psychological
gore.
thriller. I don't. I really don't.
Anita, what you're telling us is that you're a murderer and your spare
I
time.
don't know.
Is that why you never show us your face, Anita?
No. But the thing is, for Kingdom, it's a bit of a mystery because you don't know exactly how these zombies start showing up, and there's a bit of more political drama going on as well because the crown is at stake.
Wait, these are historical zombies, right?
Kind of, yes.
They're Joseon zombies up in here. These are cultural
Yes.
zombies.
But can I just say, like, the cinematography and like the quality and the pacing is really, really nice. I've only started, so I'm like very much in the beginning of the story, but it really like hooks you into the mystery and like what's really being hidden to the people and as you as a viewer as well. But I definitely recommend it. I guess one of the more popular actors in this drama as well are like Bae-doona, Kim
Bae-doona.
Ki-hoon. Yeah, so if you've seen them in previous movies, like this is a very, very, very much star-studded cast. Like a lot of very recognizable actors are in this, and I feel like the quality is very apparent. High quality filming in this, so definitely check it out if you want to. It's on Netflix.
There's 2 seasons with 6 episodes
Yes.
each.
Yep, each an hour long. So
Ooh, 12 hours of
It's-
content for your quarantine. You could binge watch this in one
Yes.
day. Let's go.
I won't. I will try not to because I wanna spread this out so it can last as long as possible.
You want to enjoy it.
Yes, I do.
It's like fine wine, you know. You don't want to gulp it down. You want to.
All right, Korean Guy Fieri. Okay, man. But that's it, right, Anita? I think. I
Yes,
don't want to be
yes.
cutting you up. You know,
I heard like lots of one more thing. I've seen lots of Twitter posts about good hats in this show.
could I wait? I think I seen that too. People were saying how
Kingdom?
the
Yeah,
hats
I
are
don't know.
good.
People were like, "The Kingdom season 2 is out. Can't wait to see more zombies and beautiful hats." I'm like,
I mean, honestly, the costumes, the sets, everything is really well done.
jeez, all right. Well, I guess I gotta watch for the hats now. Like, my goodness.
But lastly, I just want to say we gonna get through this, y'all. Stay strong, everyone. if you are super bored and you don't have Discord, you can like join our this isn't like a plug for the Discord. It's more of a plug of you can hang out with other people. We watch movies these days. We play games all the time these days. Plus, it's kind of just trolly and keeps your mind off of the bad situation outside. I don't know where to go from here. That was a weird aside. But I want everyone.
Things are gonna be okay.
Yeah,
they're difficult right now. We know that. We all agree. But there's gonna be, if there's a down, there's always an up.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. But that is true though. But this has been SojuTalk, your weekly shout out to K-pop. I'm Doug. I'd like to thank Warren and Anita for joining me as always. I feel like the episode went pretty good. I don't think there's gonna be many cuts this week, which is kind of rare because Anita's internet pooed a little, but it came back when it was her turn, so that's good. We had internet issues, so they can't see my camera. I went to the bathroom when Warren was speaking.
Wait, what?
So that happened.
Man.
But we'll see y'all next week when we review One Us, Kang Daniel, and Ong Song-woo. We'll see you then, guys. Bye. Stay safe, everyone. Clean hands, gang. Stay at home if you can. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Daniel, and Ong Song-woo. Bye. Stay safe if you can. Bye.